In this video, I'll be showing you 3 cool ways to lace your old school Vans, including diamond lacing, star lacing, and bar lacing. Timestamps are down below, let's get into it. Begin by taking your lace and feeding it into the 2 very bottom eyelets, coming up into each from underneath as I've done here. Then make sure your lace ends are of equal length. Then we're going to pop this guy out the way for a while. Take this lace and bring it over to the 3rd eyelet up from the bottom on the right hand side and feed it down into that eyelet there. So that's the 3rd eyelet up from the bottom on the right. Pull it nice and tight like that, make sure there are no creases. Then keep a hold of this lace and bring it up into the next eyelet up from underneath as I'm doing here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring it back over the sneaker tongue and down into the 2nd eyelet from the bottom on the left hand side this time. Pull it through. Just take your time and pause if you need to follow along with me. Now we'll have our 2nd little diagonal line. Keep a hold of this lace, again bring it into the next eyelet up from underneath, just as I'm doing here, like so. And then we're going to bring it back over the sneaker tongue into the next eyelet up on this side. Remember to pause and straighten out any laces if you need to. Then we're going to take it into the next eyelet up on the right. Bring it over into this eyelet here. We're going to do this pattern one more time. So bring it into the next eyelet up from underneath. Then across the sneaker tongue. And we're going to bring it into the 2nd eyelet from the top on the left hand side this time. And this is where we're going to stop. Now we're going to put this lace out the way. I just like to tuck it down inside the Vans. And make sure all of these little diagonal lines are looking nice and even. Now we're going to take a hold of this guy, this lace here, and we're going to bring it underneath this first little diagonal line here. Just pull it all the way through. I'm going to take it over this next diagonal line, and we're going to bring it down into the 3rd eyelet from the bottom on the left hand side here. So just take your time, feed it in there. And I'm going to pull that all the way through. You'll see what I've done. And then we're going to keep a hold of this lace and we're going to bring it up into the 4th eyelet from the bottom on the left hand side from underneath. So peel back that bit of the canvas there, push it through, pull it through like that. So it should be now in the 4th eyelet from the bottom on the left hand side. Now we're going to bring it back over this diagonal lace, underneath this one here, and over this one here. Make sure everything's looking nice and straight. And we're going to take it down into the empty eyelet, that's the 2nd one up from the bottom on the right hand side. So take it down into there. This can seem a bit tricky, but just go slowly and pause as much as you need to until you have a result like this. So now we want to take our lace and we're going to bring it up into the 3rd eyelet from the bottom on the right hand side from underneath. Now this can seem a bit fiddly, but take your time. Just find the gap there, push it up through the eyelet, the 3rd eyelet from the bottom on the right, bring it through there. And now we're going to weave him. And it's going to go over this diagonal lace, underneath this one, over this one, and down into this eyelet here, which is the 4th from the top on the left hand side. So push it down into there and pull it through, making sure everything looks nice and neat. Now we're going to take this lace and feed it up into the 3rd eyelet from the top on the left hand side from underneath, just like that. And then we're going to bring it over this first lace, under this second one, over the next one, and down into the fourth eyelet from the bottom on the right hand side. So just going to pull it through there, making sure everything looks nice and neat. Now I'm going to keep a hold of this lace and bring it into the next eyelet up, which will be the fourth from the top on the right hand side. So just take your time, find the correct hole. This could be a bit tricky, but there's no rush. Bring it up into that eyelet. Oh, and mine has accidentally looped one of the other laces, which is fine. Mistakes like this happen. Take a minute and just redo the step with me. So I'm going to pull that lace back through. So I don't want that to be happening. I'm going to make sure it's out of the way of the other laces. And I'm going to bring it into the fourth eyelet down from the top on the right hand side, just like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this lace over this one here, under this one here, and down into the second eyelet from the top on the left. Make sure there are no creases. And what this does here is completes the diamond pattern. So what we're going to want to do is take a minute just to straighten everything out and adjust the pattern so it looks nice. Now what you can do here is bow the laces as normal. I like to bow mine and then tuck them behind the sneaker tongue. I find that doesn't bother the top of my foot personally, and it finishes the look off in a nice crisp way. Then repeat on your other shoe, and what you'll have is a really cool diamond laced pair of Old Skool Vans. Begin by taking your lace and feeding it down into the third eyelet from the top on the right hand side. Now make sure it's definitely going into the third eyelet, and I want you to pull through about as much lace as the size of a hand. Then go ahead and just tuck this lace out the way. You can also stuff some socks down behind the sneaker tongue, which helps create a little bit more resistance and helps the pattern come out a little bit more evenly if you like. So pause to do that now if you want to do that. Then take your lace and bring it across the sneaker tongue and down into the third eyelet from the top on the left. Just feed it through nice and slowly, making sure there's no creases. And you can see there we've created this little bar. Now this is going to be the bar that your star is going to anchor onto. And then what we're going to do is we're going to skip an eyelet on the left hand side here, and we're going to bring the lace up from underneath into the next eyelet, making sure to skip the one in the middle as I've done here. Just pause if you need to take a minute. Then we're going to take the lace back over to the right hand side and into the corresponding eyelet over there. Now this is going to create another bar-like effect that you can see, and this forms this part of the star here. Then we're going to take the lace and bring it all the way down to the very bottom eyelet on the right hand side, and we're going to bring the lace up into it from underneath. And as I pull it through, you'll see this excess lace is just hidden underneath there. Now we're going to bring the lace over and down into this eyelet here that already has lace going into it. Now Vans eyelets aren't the widest, so just take your time and make sure you get both laces in there. And when we pull it through, you'll see that we're starting to form one of the first arms of the star, which is looking great there. Then you want to just bring that lace under here, and we're going to bring it up into the very bottom eyelet on the left this time, just like we did on the other side, pulling the lace through so it's hidden out of sight, like that. Now take time to pause and straighten anything out if you need to. Then we're going to go ahead, bring this lace over and into this eyelet here that already has a lace going into it on this side. Just going to pull it through. Try our best not to get any little creases, but you know, they happen. Just straighten them out when you get a chance. And we've now created a little cross here. We're going to keep a hold of the lace and we're going to bring it underneath everything. Pull it through, just like that. Make sure you're following along with me. And then we're going to take this lace and we're going to bring it up into the very bottom eyelet on the right hand side again from underneath. Now this can be a little bit tricky because, like I said, the eyelets can be quite small. So what I sometimes like to do is shove the lace end down from this side and just wiggle it around, if you can see what I'm doing there, to create slightly wider eyelet, and then you can go ahead and feed the lace through from underneath. Once you've got that through the eyelet, go ahead and take the lace underneath this one here and bring it up. And now we're going to feed it over this top bar here, that's our little anchor. Just feed it over the loop there. Make sure you're doing it on the right one. So you might want to just pause the video and check you've got the same result as me. And mine's a little bit twisted, so I'm just going to go ahead and fix that. Just like that. Then we're going to bring this lace underneath this bit here. See, just create our nice little star. Just go slowly with this bit and make sure everything's straight. Then we're going to take the lace down into the very bottom eyelet here. Pull it through. Look at that, we're starting to get our star looking nice. Now mine has a lot of twists in it, so I'm just going to take a minute to fix this. You know, nothing ever comes out perfect, so you might have to redo a step if you get little twists, but that's all right. We're in no rush. And like that, tidy up the star a little bit. Now we're going to take the lace and bring it up underneath the whole star pattern. Just go ahead and feed it underneath everything and pull it through. And this lace is just going to sit and hidden underneath this bit here. Make sure your star's still looking good. Then we're going to bring this lace up into the second eyelet from the top on the left hand side, just up underneath like that. Then we're going to bring it over and down into the second eyelet from the top on the right. Make sure that all comes out nice and straight. And then you might be wondering, okay, well, what am I going to do with these random lace ends, right? So you can go ahead and tie these in a knot. I sometimes do this and I find it's not a problem. Go ahead and pull the knot flush with the eyelets there, and then you can tuck the excess laces down inside the shoe. You can just hide that underneath the sneaker tongue. Now I find that doesn't really bother me that much, but if you're worried about this not bothering you, you can use a little product called lace anchors, which I'll show you now. Now, lace anchors are a handy little tool for keeping your laces in place, and they're super cheap, honestly. If it'll focus. All you do is slip them onto your laces. Like this, and you'll see it's created like a little anchor really that you can pull flush with the eyelet inside your shoe, and then what will happen is your lace can't come loose on that end or really on this end because it's held by this little plastic or metal anchor. Then you can go ahead, slip your lace down inside your shoe and just rest assured knowing your pattern won't come undone. If you're interested in lace anchors, I've linked in the description where you can pick up a cheap pair that I think are good. Repeat these steps on your other shoe and you'll have a pair of really awesome looking star-laced Old Skool Vans. So if your Vans are fresh out of the box, they should have a little loop lace like this already done in them, but if they don't, just take both lace ends down into the 2 bottom eyelets of your Vans, then pull the lace ends together to make sure they're the same length before we begin. Then my first tip for you is to take a pair of socks and put the socks down underneath the sneaker collar. The reason I do this is it creates a nice bit of resistance underneath the sneaker tongue with the sock, which means your bars will all come out at nice even lengths and not small at the bottom and loose at the top. So then the first thing you want to do is take this lace on the right hand side, and then you want to take it up and underneath through the second eyelet on this side, like this, so it's kind of hidden there. Pop this guy out of the way, and then you want to bring this lace over to your left hand side and thread it down into the second eyelet on this side here, and make sure it doesn't fold or crease. We want it to look nice and crisp. And as you can see, you've formed your second bar. Then put this lace up and out the way. Take this lace up and through the third eyelet on this side here, and then you want to bring it over to this side just like we did before, and into the third eyelet on this side here. Take your time, make sure there's no folds in the lace, and make sure they're all looking roughly the same size. I'll tighten that one a little bit. And again, pop this one out of the way. Keep a hold of this lace, bring it up into the fourth eyelet on this side. Bring it over and into the fourth eyelet on this side. As your laces get a little bit shorter, this gets a lot easier and quicker to do as well. Make sure it's looking nice and even and good. Then pop it out the way. Back to the other lace, take it up through the fifth eyelet on this side. Bring it over. Once you've completed the fifth eyelet, again, just take the same lace, bring it up and over. Maybe just follow along with me to make sure you get it right all the way through, making sure all the bars are looking nice and even. Again, put this one out the way, take this guy here. We're getting really close to the finishing product now. Bring it over. And once you get used to doing this pattern, it gets much easier to do your second shoe as well. What we're going to do is leave this guy out of the way for now, and we're going to finish the look with this lace. Up through the eyelet here. And then down into this one here for a nice seamless finish. If you like, you can knot your laces into a bow here and leave these two empty. Or what I like to do is take both laces and fasten them into a knot like this. And then I like to tuck that knot down underneath the sneaker tongue with the laces and settle it down there until it feels comfortable when on. And this is a great way of lacing your Vans so that they slip on. Then I'm going to bring in the one I did earlier. Once you've got both done, this is what they should look like, and you'll be left with a really cool pair of bar-laced Vans. If you found the information in this video helpful, please hit the like and subscribe button. That way you won't lose it and you can come back to it later.